Hello, tile friends! Welcome back to another episode of Tile Money. This is the podcast where we discuss the business of being a tile contractor. My name is Luke Miller, and I am on a mission to help tile contractors grow profitable, sustainable businesses everywhere. Thank you for letting me know that this podcast is helping you. Thank you for interacting with me inside the Facebook group and Instagram. Thank you for leaving great reviews. I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate you. Today's episode is sponsored by Crossville. Crossville is America's leading manufacturer of porcelain tile. They offer a variety of glass and natural stone tile for interior and exterior floors, walls, and countertops. Made right in the United States, their innovative products are sustainable and expertly designed to last a lifetime. If you have not worked with Crossville products, I highly suggest you check them out. All right, so in today's episode, we've got a great interview with Ken Ballin. And Ken is I'm sure a lot of you already know Ken. He's very active inside the Facebook groups, and we talked all about marketing your tile installation business. Ken shared some great insights into how he's marketing his business. I'm always impressed with the things he is doing and staying on top of. He actually started his business during the 2008 recession, if you didn't know that about him. So kind of an interesting point there. And he's built a great name for himself there in his local area. So I know you're going to find a lot of insights and a lot of value from listening to this interview. So let's check it out right now. Enjoy. All right, Ken, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking some time out of your workday here to share what you know about marketing. You've built up a great name for yourself and have a great reputation. And I understand you built your company during the last recession. So we want to talk about all things marketing today and how you did that. But before we get into that, in case of someone listening to this doesn't know who you are, can you introduce yourself, your company, where you're located, and how long you've been at it?
Yeah, sure, man. I am Ken Ballin. I own Skyro Floors. I am from West Creek, New Jersey, by Long Beach Island. Most of my business is on Long Beach Island. I do custom tile and luxury flooring installation. And I started my business in 2008, which, like you said, was at the start of the last recession. And kind of got lucky with a box store contract. I had, at my peak with them, I had probably about, I want to say now, 13 stores and maybe a dozen crews. Kind of went workroom style and got rid of all the smaller installers. So I decided to go after a higher end, higher paying client, and hence my appearance in the tile industry.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's I always like to hear success stories like yours, especially, the trying times you started your business. What were you doing before you started this flooring company?
Well, I spent probably about 10 years in retail. I was in soft good retail and then moved over into construction retail. Like, I was working in Lowe's as one of their department managers, and then switched over to the installation side and kind of evolved in the opposite direction.
Okay, interesting. Very cool. And you've had some schooling in marketing, is that correct?
Yeah, I have my bachelor's from Monmouth University in business administration with a marketing concentration and an IT minor.
Nice. That's very cool. So that has no doubt, been beneficial for you. And we see, I kind of look at your business and see things that you do differently. Before we dive into that subject, can you give my listeners an overview of kind of what marketing is, the basics, and how to go about it?
Well, marketing is really just appealing to your audience. And regardless of what field you're in, whether it's tile, flooring, construction, or, podcasts,
Yeah.
it's just giving the target audience something that appeals to them, something that they find value.
Mm-hmm. How is marketing different than advertising?
It's funny you mention that, because when I was in high school, I was big into art class, or all that fun stuff.
Okay.
And I had, just this overall push towards kind of the art world, the artistic world. And sitting in class one day, I was looking at a poster that they had up, and it was like, I don't know, jobs in art or finding your career in art. And one of them was advertising. And I said, well, that sounds really cool. And I said, I could get into that. So going through, the college process at the time, there was always a big push growing up to go to college and make something of yourself. And so I had gone through schools that had advertising. Well, Monmouth was one of the schools that was actually giving me financial aid at that point. So their counselor, or whatever they wanted to call them at the time, had said, well, we don't have advertising, but we do have marketing, and kind of sold me that it was the same thing. And it's not the same thing at all.
Right.
it's very different, which I learned.
Right.
I think I had one class in my major that was advertising, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as far as the difference is concerned, advertising is more the actual, let's say, print ads, commercials, the actual content that is being put out. And marketing as a whole, I would say, is kind of more the mindset of pushing your brand, getting, your name out there. So they're very similar, but I like to think that marketing is more of a strategy and advertising is more content.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That makes sense. So do these, so they're similar, you said, and of course they can work together, but they are two separate things. So,
oh, absolutely.
So, I always enjoy talking to people like you that came from a different industry and kind of found the flooring and tile world, maybe at a later point in their life than, say, like I started at 17.
Right.
So as you were starting your business in 2008, what was going through your mind as far as the business end? Like, what did you start working on first? And once you started, when did you start implementing marketing in your strategy?
Honestly, marketing was really, I would almost have to say that I had abandoned marketing at the very start completely.
Okay.
Kind of disheartened from college because, coming out of college, anything with a marketing job was essentially outside sales and going into the city. And that is not what I wanted to do at all. So I really kind of only recently reintegrated marketing into my business through, social media and stuff like that. Because, when I first started my business, I was doing laminate installations, like very simple, quick floors. Like that's how I got into it. And then I learned how to do hardwood and, kind of got into that. And then I learned tile. So as far as marketing is concerned in the early stages, it was really just doing quality work, reading the instructions, making sure I was doing things how they should be done, and kind of building my reputation through referrals. And that was really the extent of it.
Okay. Interesting. And you were getting a lot of work from stores, suppliers, things of that nature, correct?
Well, I only had the one contract, but I picked it up and ran with it. I kind of became the go-to person to fix other people's screw-ups.
Okay.
Which worked out well for me and kind of allowed me to start building my reputation.
Yeah.
As far as, how that's evolved, it's definitely gone in a different direction. But, at the start, it was really just kind of word of mouth and showing people what I could do.
Yeah. So seeing what you've built now and what you're doing with your marketing now, if you could go back 12 years ago and tell yourself to do it any differently, would you?
Start a lot sooner.
Okay.
Start a lot sooner.
Right. And so now, so when did you make the switch to really focus on marketing? Because your brand, I mean, your brand is everywhere. You know, it's online, and I know you're getting a lot of leads, very or kind of. I mean, I want to say organically, but you're putting work into it. But it's not paid advertising. You're kind of marketing in these Facebook groups and stuff. When did you kind of make that switch and make that light bulb moment?
Well, you know what? It's kind of funny because it really evolved from our Facebook groups. And at the start, it started with, it started with Tile Geeks, and it kind of evolved into these other groups that we were involved with. Tile Up 2.0, GTP, Flooring Installers of America. And the more that these groups, each one has a different flavor. They all have a different kind of area that they focus on, and they all have a common theme, but they really have this flair for individuality. And through participating in them, you kind of see what each group is doing. And I was just putting out content. That's really what it comes down to. It's all about content, and you just be consistent. And, if you're consistently posting your work and consistently giving others feedback and being a positive influence, then you're going to make a name for yourself. And that's kind of where I've evolved to. And I always tell everybody, I'm not any more talented than any other, installer in any of the groups. I'm really not. I'm just too paranoid not to follow the directions. And that's kind of been my secret to success. It's just reading the directions. I didn't have the luxury of working for anybody else, so I'm pretty much self-taught at this point. I do, go through all the trainings and certifications that I can, but as far as, actual work experience, I would say that I'm mostly self-taught.
Yeah.
But a lot of that has come from the help of others in all these groups. And if you get out of it what you put into it. So if you are, if you constantly have positive things to say, you're going to get positive things back. If you constantly have negative things to say and are constantly criticizing others, well, you're going to get that back as well. So I just want people to remember that you get out what you put into it.
That's great. Great advice. And you're right. These groups have been a huge asset to myself and you and many others. It's amazing to see us all sharing. And I know, like myself, when I first got started, back before Facebook in the John Bridge forums, I didn't say a word, but I was soaking it up. I was reading. I mean, oftentimes, for 6 hours a day, I would read and read and read. And then
there's a lot of members like that, man. There's a lot of people that might not be, they might not be comfortable enough to post their work, but they're absorbing everything and they're absorbing the content. That's great.
It is. It really is. Yep. And that's why we continue to do it for sure. So what are you doing for your business inside local Facebook groups to generate leads?
So what I do, and I kind of go about it a little differently than others might. You see these local neighborhood groups, and I am very lucky and blessed that I happen to live in a tourist market with second and third homes, and with the reputation that I've developed, I really I control my jobs a lot more than many others have the opportunity to. So part of that, though, is how you behave online. And, we have this local recommendations group for contractors and stuff like that. And you can go on and say, hey, I need a tile setter, I need a floor guy, I need a painter, I need a drywaller. And other residents in the area can go on and say, hey, I used Jack's drywall and he was fantastic. Or they can say, hey, I used Jack's drywall and he wasn't so hot. I'm going to apologize to Jack's Drywall for using him as an example. I don't know that he actually exists, but I'm going to just take that chance.
I'm sure he does, yeah.
But I can come on as a business owner and I can say, hi, so-and-so. I own Skyro Floors. I install custom tile and luxury flooring, and I am CFI certified and CTI certified, and I'm this and that and all these great things. And here's a picture of my work. Check out some of my other projects on Facebook and Instagram at Skyro Floors. And, I'd be happy to take a look at your projects for you.
Yeah.
And what that does is it's a response that's targeted to them. And it's more personalized than, hey, I'm Ken, I own Skyro Floors, call me. Or, hey, I do this, call me. Or, just putting some sort of random response. Like if you take it, now I use that same exact response for everybody. I just copy and paste it. So I'm not typing all this nonsense out every single time.
Sure.
But
great tip.
Yeah. And a part of that is also that, I will take that and I will respond, even if I'm not looking for work or looking for other projects at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to respond to every single post that pertains to what I do, because other residents in the area will go on through the search function and look at previous posts. And if my name is constantly coming up, then that's where you're getting that free organic reach. And that's how I get most of my business. Most of my business is not that initial somebody looking for work, but it's other people going through the site and searching afterwards.
Yeah, great point. And so how often is this a daily routine that you're kind of scanning this local group?
Well, what I do is I have notifications set up so that anytime a post goes on a particular group,
okay,
I get a notification. So I'm not sitting home,
right,
scrolling through the site, but I'll have it set up. So if I hear that ding, I'm going to check real quick and say, I'm interested, I'm not interested, I'm whatever.
Do you use a app or a tool for that, or is it just through Facebook?
No, it's just through Facebook.
Sure.
You can set any group notifications to, you can set the Tile Money group to give you notifications anytime something's posted. So it's just how you're using these apps that kind of puts your business in front of different audiences. So if you have these notifications set to give you an alert whenever, this recommendation posted, or this, if you have, I don't know, a direct competitor or something that's constantly posting and you want to keep an eye, you can put notifications on that person and have you get an update every time they, put something in that group.
Yeah. That's great. You don't have to be sitting on your phone all day, for sure.
No, not at all.
And like you said, you gave us another great time-saving tip on, hey, use your Notes app or your, Google Docs app or whatever to pre-write your response and then just copy and paste.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And what I'll actually do is in that particular group, I can go into the search bar, type in certified tile.
There you go.
And my post comes right back up. So I click copy and paste real quick. I go back to the new post, copy and paste, make sure you change the customer's name because that gets easy.
Yeah.
And then, you've got it right there. It's
Perfect.
quick access.
There you go. Same app. Now, what's kind of dawned on me here while you've been talking is you're giving out this kind of valuable information so freely. First of all, thank you. People are benefiting from it. You always do that. I mean, I hear, almost, weekly in the groups, hey, Ken, thanks for the suggestions. It's working. Other people are imitating what you've kind of done. I have a few things to say, but why are you so willing to give out information freely when others kind of guard it or hide it?
Because, a rising tide lifts all ships. If we are all, it goes back to getting back what you put out into the universe. If you are a positive person, if you are giving good feedback, if you're being kind to others, then that's what's going to come back to you, And I'm really big on seeing others succeed. We all succeed together. I tell everybody, I don't have any competition. I have 8 other local tile setters that I could rattle off right now. And I'm constantly, giving their numbers out, giving, their information out. I have customers all the time that, I get scheduled pretty far back, sometimes. So having these other installers is a great resource because if you have good installers that you can recommend in your area, even though you might not be doing that job, you gave the referral.
Yeah.
So that only builds your reputation. It makes you look better.
Yeah.
And
100.
It's just, I really have this, I tell my daughters all the time, we rise by lifting others.
That's awesome.
I really believe that. And I think that's an important thing that, as we progress through our careers and through our life in general, the more that you do for others, the better off you'll be.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, and thank you for sharing that. And I want to kind of expand on that too. Ken can confidently tell you his location, how he generates leads, and how his business is set up, and he sincerely wants to help, but he's confident that when he says, I have no competition, what he means by that is his marketing game is so strong that I can literally move to Ken's town and I can't take his work away from him. Because if you go on his page, you look at his van, which I want to talk about here in a minute, you look at his shirts, his logo, his everything, it's clear that if his customers want Ken, they want Ken. I mean, I can't take his customers away. That's the power of marketing, and that's what we're talking about here. That's why it's so, like, if you're wanting to build a reputation, you just have to be everywhere. You have to be consistent, and you have to be showing up where your customers, potential customers are showing up, so that over the course of sometimes months, but years really, you're just known. You're just known as, hey, look at that cool Woody van. There goes Ken Ballin. And then somebody that you worked for 3 years ago is getting a cup of coffee. You drive by and they tell their girlfriend, hey, that's the guy that built my awesome shower that you were liking, or whatever. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man, absolutely. A quick funny story. I was talking to a buddy of mine a few months back, and we were sitting down, he was telling me how a friend of his was a contractor on this job site, and he was going to have my buddy look at the tile work, to take care of that part of the project. Yeah. And the homeowner said, "Oh, no, that's okay. I'm saving up my money because I want a Ken Ballin."
Yeah, that's awesome.
He says, "Dude, how did you do that?" I said, "I don't know, but that is awesome."
Yeah, that is wild. I love it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. All right, friends. Right now, I'm going to jump in here with some tile news. We'll get back to the discussion, and at the end of the discussion, we've got another great Tile Money tip with Ron Nash. Today's Tile Money news is sponsored by the NTCA. I wanted to remind you and let you know about their online university. Some of you, if you haven't checked it out, it's a great time for members to check it out, because right now the NTCA is offering free courses for the month of April. So if you're listening to this in April 2020, you can be able to check this out for free. Visit the link in our show notes. And if you're hiring new help, or maybe you're looking to keep your help busy and train them during this virus or what have you, and you want to onboard them quicker, after this virus, we're going to want to onboard employees as quickly as possible and get them the right training so that we can get them to work. Consider using the NTCA Online University. They have 100 courses for your new hires to use to help them understand all the products, methods, and standards. Putting them to work, having them watch a half hour of these videos a day is going to really speedy up their apprenticeship, and they're going to view this in a larger way for your apprentices that do take this on and put this into practice. I guarantee you that they're going to not only get ahead quicker and be more useful to you, but the ones who actually are excited about this, it'll tell you something about their personality and how they can be an asset for you, not just for carrying around thin set bags, but also thinking about the future, creating great installers and mechanics. So I highly recommend that you check out the NTCA's online university. And for the month of April 2020, they are offering that for free for their NTCA members. So, all right, now back to this interview with Ken. check it out. We're going to finish up this interview, and then at the end, we've got another Tile Money tip. So what, I know you're doing a lot of, we talked about the Facebook stuff. Are you doing any other social media that generates leads?
Well, I think we really need to define lead at this point. Is a lead something that, gets you work directly, or is it something that maybe gets you a contact that benefits you down the road? The different platforms might have different functions. So I might use Facebook to get a lot of my work, but I might use Instagram to make contacts. Instagram is much more contractor heavy than Facebook might be. And so if there's, a few contractors in the area, or maybe a few realtors or something that I'm trying to get in with to do future projects, I might, start commenting on their posts, start liking their posts, just so that my name is coming up in their mind more often.
Right.
So and you
business
can
to business marketing, right?
Yeah. More business to business opportunities, but sometimes those opportunities might be more beneficial, depending on your market, of course, than direct to homeowner.
Yeah.
I mean, I think right now is the perfect example of where the people whose business are mostly new construction are feeling they're still concerned with, the current ongoing in the world, but, they're a little bit more confident than, let's say, somebody doing a home, residential remodel where homeowners aren't letting anybody into their house.
Yeah. That's a great point. Great point. Yeah, it would be best to have a mixture, 60-40, 50-50. I mean, however you want to do it, but some sort of, almost equal or close to mixture of leads of, job sources for sure. What traditional ways of, traditional marketing do you employ? Implore is not the right word.
That's all right. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I used to, like I said before, I kind of live in a tourist market, second and third homes.
Yeah.
So the people around here really depend on referrals, social media, local advertising for their contacts. And so I used to advertise in one of the local print, newspapers. It's not a large publication, but just for this, town. And, I ran that for years, and they would put out like a home renovation magazine twice a year in the fall and spring. And I'd buy a half-page ad in that. They wrote a few articles on me for that magazine a couple times. Once when I very first started, and then another one more recently, I want to say last year or so. But with, the influx of social media, I've really pulled all print advertising that I was doing, and I'm not currently doing any at all. I'm entirely word of mouth and social media. Okay.
And how about your van? Because your van is worth mentioning here. Is it like a Ford Transit or
it's a Nissan Envy 2500.
Okay.
And I had that. I knew what I wanted to do with that van before I even bought it.
Nice.
Yeah. So, for those that don't know me, I live at the Jersey Shore. Growing up, I was all into skateboarding and then surfing as I got older. So one of the organizations in the surfing industry is Surfers Healing, and they take out handicapped kids to paddle out and go surfing. And one of their vehicles is a big Woody. It's like it's a huge Ford Transit, but they had it wrapped like a Woody. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I love it. I want it. It's going to be mine.
Yeah.
And then, so then I bought my van and I took it to the, to our vinyl graphics space. And I told them what I wanted to do. They loved the idea. That van has been in flooring and tile trade magazines.
Yeah.
It's been in vinyl wrap trade magazines. Nice. Like it's crazy. That's awesome. But yeah, I love that. It's
gorgeous. It's a head turner. I mean, and I've always loved Woodies myself, so it's appealing to me. But right there on the beach, I mean, it makes perfect sense, and it's a rolling billboard. And I mean, vans are a great tool for any contractor, anyways. But yeah, you might as well utilize that space.
Oh, absolutely. And it wouldn't work in another market, but being where I am, it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. One more question here. What would you like to see differently, or what would you fix if you could like wave a magic wand when it comes to other contractors, other flooring contractors in their marketing? What's the number one thing that really pains you that you know? Is there?
Oh my gosh.
Is there one thing? Or?
I mean, how much time do we got? No, if I had to pick one or two things, I would have to say the word free. I despise the word free, and I'm not a hateful person at all. But that word, when talking about other contractors advertising, that word in particular, like just irks me every time I see it. Whether it's free estimate, free carpet install, free tile sealing, just remove that word from your vocabulary. We are craftsmen. At the end of the day, you need to be compensated properly for what you're doing, and giving things away free, even if you're making up them in other aspects of your business, is just not the way to go. Like, you just need to put a value on everything, because everything has a value. If it's free, then it's worthless.
Yeah. Great point. Just to expand on that, I mean, a lot of people will say like, we're not the most expensive. We're reasonably priced or something.
And you know what? That's another one. Like, as far as I know, I'm easily the most expensive in my area. And I tell customers that all the time. But I've built a reputation where that's what they're looking for in my market. And I'm not telling anybody to mimic. I have nothing to emulate as far as running my business is concerned. I run it on the fly, and I do what works for me, and it seems to keep working because people keep giving me money to set tile. That's all. So if you're not doing things the same way that I'm doing, that does not mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means we're different animals, and that's okay. Something that works in my market might not work in your market. And I would hate to see somebody be detrimental to their business because they're trying to mimic what I do. I'm happy to give anybody any sort of advice that they want. I'm happy to tell them how I do things, show them how I do things, explain why I do things. But at the end of the day, you have to do what works for you.
It's a great point. And I think it's worth mentioning, like you're a single worker, right? You don't have employees?
No, I work by myself for the most part. I do have other people that I'll call in.
Temporary help.
So I'm a CTI, 1392. I will call in other CTIs in the area, and have them help out on job sites. And we kind of all work for you, you work for me. We'll work back and forth for each other, and it kind of benefits everybody that way, so that you're not stuck. And
that's the power of networking within your local groups and stuff. I really love seeing all these local, like, hey, Minneapolis groups, whatever groups, Omaha, groups. I mean, some of these states are so small or whatever, but it's a good start. It's a good start.
Absolutely.
What did I miss that you wanna let people know?
Oh, I don't know. You kind of caught me off guard with that one.
I keep asking you questions.
I don't, what did we miss? I would say, as far as this, going back to the social media, don't keep all your eggs in one basket. Like, it's great to post on Facebook. It's great to post on Instagram. But I have a TikTok account that I use. And before you laugh, the thing with TikTok, before you laugh, because I know there's some listeners out there laughing right now. So before they laugh, the thing that is great about TikTok is you can link your TikTok to your Instagram, to your business Facebook page, and you can post simultaneously through all three platforms. So if you're posting a little video in TikTok, which you're limited to the time or whatever, but you can crop it. It's a great platform to edit short videos for whatever project you're working on. You can if we're taking videos of ourselves and then everybody sees at the end you reach to shut the camera off, well, you can crop that out on TikTok and then share it directly to your Instagram and, add your hashtags for Instagram and then share it directly to your business account and without having to repost.
Yeah.
And it just streamlines everything for you.
Super nice. Very convenient. Yeah. And it's a great point. These platforms are aging and, what we see, we don't even have to go that far back. There was like Snapchat, and I think it's still fairly popular. But a few years ago, as a realtor, I was, learning that people were starting to sell real estate through their Snapchat accounts, and it's going to be the same way.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
In 2 or 3 years, it'll be the same thing with the TikTok. I mean, you're going to be, making major transactions because someone found your business on TikTok, and so it is real.
And then it'll be something else, something totally new that everybody's. I'm not going to do that. And then in a few years, they'll be doing that. And then there'll be something new again.
Yeah. Kids don't want to be on the same platform that their parents are on, and understandably.
No, not at all.
But a lot of these kids, have good jobs or inherit money, and they're ready to buy homes at, 20 years old or whatever.
Man. Absolutely.
Well, listen, hey, I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to work, Ken. I know this is going to help a lot of people, and I'll put links to your pages and these show notes here. Yeah,
absolutely. No worries, man. If anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. I'm very easy to find online, and I appreciate everything that you do for us, brother.
You're welcome, Ken. My pleasure. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. All right. Thank you, Ken, for sharing so many great tips and not holding back. I truly appreciate everything that you continue to do for the tile and flooring communities. You're a great inspiration, a great source of knowledge, and thank you for humbly sharing and encouraging all of us, really. So, all right, tile friends, now we've got another great Tile Money tip with Ron Nash, and this was taken from that business incubator that Tile Money hosted back in September. Today's Tile Money tip is, of course, sponsored by Laticrete International. And today, Ron is talking about questions and clarifications and how we can use questions to clarify, what our clients are talking about. If they're asking us to discount or do certain things, we really want to be good experts at asking questions. So enjoy this Tile Money tip right now.
Questions and clarifications are in my opinion, one of the best things. So when someone says, your prices are too high, you say, oh, that kind of surprises me. I thought we were going really good. Okay, let me ask you a couple questions. I want to make sure that I understand. You see where I'm going? I'm taking the burden. Okay, so when people ask for better pricing, there's a little bit of embarrassment that comes into some of these relationships. As a good relationship manager, you will take that embarrassment on yourself and take it off of your customer, making your customer as comfortable as possible. And this is what you're doing with question and clarify. Man, my bad. I actually thought we were right in line. See where I'm going here? I thought we were right in line with what we had scoped. Let me ask some questions to make sure I'm not adding things to your contract that you don't want. You see where I was going here? I'm giving that person a soft out, and I'm leaving the door open for them to get back to yes. Because what am I going to do through the whole question and clarify stage? I'm going to educate. I'm going to ask a question. Oh, wait. Did you want that grout that never needs to be sealed, or do you want grout that you needed to seal? I can't remember. You see where we're going? Oh, no, regular grout is fine. Shoot, my bad. I had upgraded grout in this.
How much are you empathizing at this point?
Depends on the person. There's no hard set rules on this, but the point is that questioning and clarification, I can take a hard bargainer, a person that's really in my face in the middle of Manhattan, calling me everything in the book and telling me I'm screwing him and his family, and I can use this exact same thing. Whoa, hang on, chill out. I thought I was on the same page as you. Hang on. By the way, I can get more aggressive than I have. That's what you have to do there. That's the style. Whoa! Time out. I thought I did everything that you asked me to do up to this point. You see where I'm going? You have to be able to go up. You have to be able to go back down. You can also use that same tactic across the table from a little old lady spending her retirement. Hey, I just want to make sure that we have all the things covered. Let me ask some more questions. I would love to hit your budget if possible. Super soft, or that guy that's in the middle of Manhattan calling you everything in the book, staying with it. That tactic is great.
I guess I'm asking if you soften with empathy at that point, like, hey, I'm with you. It seems crazy. Let me tell you why it's that much.
Yeah, absolutely. I couple a lot of these, and by the way, as you study this and you think about what to say, you will wind up coming up with an amalgamation of all of these tactics that you feel comfortable with. And you actually, this is where style starts to come in. You're going to start building a style. What will happen is you'll say, question, clarify. Oh, I'm really surprised. Okay, I'm sorry. I was not expecting this reaction. I'm a little bit surprised. Let me make sure I understand where we are with the scope. I certainly want to make sure you're happy with us at the end of the day. That's my goal. And I know you're going to get this done. I want to know your reasons. What about my proposal is really sticking in your craw right now? And it's a great, powerful question. Because what people will do is they'll bring out the dead. It's like, and a lot of times it's silly. A lot of the things that really bother people on huge contracts are silly. Well, you said you weren't going to work on the weekend. And I need to get, okay, well, why do you want me to work on the weekend? Well, my family always goes out of town and you guys can have the run of the place. And all. So you learn all these things, So what's your reason and rationale for why you feel this way? I'm talking about feelings at this point. Nobody does that in business, by the way. Because it's just business, right? Yeah, people who say it's just business are selling you day planners. And it's not how it works.
All right, that was another great tip. Thank you, Ron. Friends, Ron is helping us to improve our communication skills. I appreciate how he highlighted the same, using the same words, but just in different tones really makes all the difference. Of course, depending on the situation and who you are talking to, you're going to use a different tone of voice and even the same words. And this is so simple, but oftentimes we tend to forget the simple things that make the biggest impact, the biggest difference. So I truly appreciate these Tile Money tips. And Ron, thank you for sharing everything you do and all the hard work. Thank you, Laticrete, for sponsoring that Tile Money tip. All right, Tile friends, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope I've given you something to think about and some useful, helpful advice that you can apply in your business. In next week's episode, we're going to continue our discussion on marketing. Visit the show notes for some links, the links to the NTCA online university, and visit for a couple of new links from me. Visit tilemoney.com to check out my new website, and you can also visit tilestonevirtualtradeshow.com to see what the Tile and Stone Virtual Trade Show is all about. You can look at our schedule. You can get to know what is coming up. And if you want to get involved with that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right, Tile friends, until next week, stay profitable out there.